In order to perform basic calculations in a worksheet, you need to be comfortable entering simple formulas in this lesson. We'll enter a formula in a cell, and we'll also edit an existing formula. Here's our payroll calculator worksheet. We want to add a formula here in cell G5 that calculates gross pay for employee Peter Bruegel. And here in cell F5, we have a formula, but we do need to make a change to it because we've raised our rate of overtime pay. So let's get started. First thing we're actually going to do, let's click on cell G5. In this cell, we want to insert a formula that calculates gross pay for this employee. Gross pay is calculated by adding regular pay, that's located here in column E, plus our overtime pay, that's located here in column F. Remember that every formula begins with an equal sign. So in the next step, I'll type an equal sign. So what I want to do is I want to click on G5. That's where our formula is actually going to be. Also, when I type in the equals, this is called the formula prefix because it goes at the beginning of every formula. So I'm going to click equals. Then I want to start with Peter's regular pay, which is in cell E5. So I'm going to click on E5. I could type cell E5, but it's actually easier to click the cell you want. Next, I need to add a calculation operator. A calculation operator indicates what type of calculation you want to perform. We want to add our values, so I'll type the plus sign, which is an arithmetic operator. Next, I'll click the cell that contains Peter's overtime pay. That's cell F5. And before I confirm this entry, notice that the blue and green cell references in my formula here correspond to the cells that I've clicked on. This helps you see exactly what you're doing and make sure you're including the right cells in your formula. I'll click the Enter button on the formula bar, and the result of our formula appears in cell G5. This same value appears down in cell G15. That's because if I click cell G15, you'll see it contains a formula that totals the values in cell G5 through G14. And there are no other values in the column to add up. So now what I want to do is edit the overtime pay formula. I'll click in cell F5. The formula calculates overtime pay by multiplying overtime pay hours in cell C5 times twice the regular hourly rate, which is 2 times cell D5. We want to edit this formula to reflect a new overtime pay rate of 2.5 times the regular hourly rate. So I click in the cell to make it active. Then I'm going to click up here in the formula bar right to the right of the 2. And what you'll notice when I click in the formula bar, we become down here in the bottom, we go into edit mode, but also you'll notice the different colors that are displayed on your worksheet. So I know that C5 is blue, D5 is green, and that's reflected in my formula. So I can see what cells are in my formula. The overtime rate now multiplies the hourly rate in cell D5 by 2.5. So what I need to put in this formula is 0.5 right after the 2, and then I'm going to click on the Enter button, and you'll notice now it's recalculated. The formula is changed, so overtime pay for Peter is now $160. And because of that change, his gross pay is now greater. Notice that it changed to $800. And the total in cell G15 is increased as well, because remember, it actually is the sum of the cells above it. Every time you make a change in a worksheet, Excel updates any other cells that include calculations based on that change. So what you need to do is we're going to save our work, and we want to try these steps ourselves, and we want to learn about the advantages of working with name ranges in worksheets. Check out your textbook.